Hello, this is iPulse Live for January 24, 2025. I'm Osekian.
And I'm Lilian Carreon. From immigration issues to pardons related to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, it's been a busy first week for the Trump administration. Reporter Swanson Gibson Jr. sat down with Lynn University's Distinguished Professor of American History, Dr. Robert Watson, for perspective.
Also with January 6th, all presidents have used and misused the presidential pardon. They usually do it in their final days in office. I've never liked the idea of a presidential pardon, but there it is. But we've not seen it the way Trump's used it, by pardoning people who attacked the Capitol. Police officers were attacked and died. They defecated and urinated on the floors. They looted. They threatened to kill the vice president, Democratic members of Congress. These people were found guilty in a court of law. They admitted their guilt. And he's pardoning in one fell swoop all these folks. So this sends a message to law enforcement. It sends a message to the country that lawlessness is something that the administration is not bothered by.
You can see the full interview with Dr. Watson in our special edition of iPulse News Extra at the end of our broadcast.
The California wildfires are not over yet. A new blaze in northern Los Angeles has forced tens of thousands of residents to evacuate. Despite the challenge, officials say they have the resources to battle the flames. Reporter Delaney Smith has the full details.
We're not out of the woods yet.
Another large wildfire is spreading quickly towards Los Angeles area homes. The Hughes fire is burning in Castaic, a suburb in the foothills and mountains of northern LA County. Tens of thousands of people who live in that area are under evacuation orders and warnings.
This is the closest one so far.
Several area roads are closed, including a stretch of I-5.
As soon as I heard about it, I figured it was going to be tough to get home, so better to leave early than not be able to get home at all.
The National Weather Service announced its red flag warning Thursday. It applies to most of LA and Ventura counties. The service says Santa Ana winds have been pushing the Hughes fire southwest.
We have engines at the houses that are in front of this fire, there to protect those structures.
Officials say the good news is it's been less windy than when the Palisades fire began. They say that's allowed a consistent aerial attack on the Hughes blaze. They add that having thousands of resources in the area allowed for a fast response. Firefighters are starting to get a handle on the Palisades and Eaton blazes, but the director of CAL FIRE says the new wildfire shows the crisis is ongoing.
And as we continue through these weather conditions, we recognize that it's not over yet. We recognize that we still have a couple of days to go.
I'm Delaney Smith for iPulse TV News.
A 16-year-old student of Antioch High School in Tennessee, Jocelyn Corean Escalante, was killed in a shooting on Wednesday. Police say the shooter was a 17-year-old student who then killed himself after he opened fire inside the cafeteria. Delaney Smith has the full story.
A family heartbroken after a school shooting in Antioch. Herman Correa says he got to the high school just as medics were trying to save Jocelyn's life, rushing her to the hospital. I want to remember my daughter alive, Herman told us in Spanish. He loved having her by his side, but sadly that's impossible now. Herman never thought the sophomore would not come home from school. Even if he was concerned, there were not any metal detectors.
Ellos no quieren perder el tiempo. Está registrando un estudiante.
At the school, they don't want to search all of the students because they don't want to lose time, Herman said about keeping people safe.
Tengan más cuidado con los alumnos.
There's been a stream of parents and students coming to drop off flowers and balloons.
Wish that this could be just a nightmare and not real.
Jocelyn's cousin Brianna was taking a test at her Atlanta high school when she got a call about the shooting. She says Jocelyn was always kind and didn't deserve this.
School is supposed to be a safe spot for everybody, for all the students. But losing a cousin is one of the hardest things.
Her family from Guatemala is now coming together, trying to figure out why this happened. Herman said his brother doesn't want to send his kids to school, scared of another tragedy. I'm Delaney Smith for iPulse TV News.
There are snowflakes in the Sunshine State. In Florida news, Tallahassee and Pensacola have had some strange occurrences that some consider are rare and magical. Hold on to your flip-flops. Allison Wallace has the frosty scoop.
Hard to believe, but this was Pensacola, Florida this past Tuesday. Heavy snow, in some places 7.6 inches. Pensacola had never seen this kind of a snowfall before.
I mean, look at this. I mean, it's coming down. I'm taking a video right now. I'll send it to you.
And it was not only in Pensacola. Students from Florida State University in Tallahassee sent us these videos. Tallahassee became a winter wonderland. Students say this was the best day ever, and there's still snow and ice there today. Classes are closed and will remain so until next week, and some say climate change doesn't exist. I'm Allison Wallace with iPulse News.
And now here's reporter Noah Barclay with the weather forecast for our area.
Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Noah Barclay, and if you felt this week was muggy, I have good news. It is going to get a little better. It's not going to be 100% cleared up, but it's going to be better than it was the last week. According to this radar image, you can see that there's no rain around currently. There's some rain in the current area around Florida. You have some in the Gulf of Mexico. You have some in the Atlantic Ocean that is really surrounding the area, but it's not coming into Florida, but it will lead, at least for the beginning of the week, to some cloudy skies. Now, as you can see, later in the week, we do have a high pressure that comes directly over Boca Raton and pretty much all of South Florida, right about here. And it's also affecting it up here. And the whole entire kind of state will be affected by these two high pressures that actually come in. But particularly for South Florida and Boca Raton, this high pressure down here is going to prevent any rain coming in. And it's also going to lead to some sunnier conditions because there's still some spotty showers off to the side in the Atlantic and in the Gulf of Mexico. There is still some expected clouds that are going to come in, but it's really not going to be the mugginess that we got this weekend. It is going to be warming up a little bit. As you can see right here on the 7-day forecast, it is still going to be pretty chilly today. You are going to want a coat. Same thing with tomorrow. It'll be still a little cold, a little chill, but really nothing too terrible. But then we get right back into the 70s, which is going to be great news if you did not like the weather that we had this past week. It wasn't good if you were not into cloudy weather. As we get into Monday, you'll see consistently Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it is going to start to get sunnier. And as we get sunnier, that is when the temperatures are still expected to rise. I am Noah Barclay. Thank you very much.
On January 18th, Bigger Than Sports hosted a thrilling pickleball tournament with profits going to students and underserved communities. The event attracted a large crowd showcasing strong community support for the organization's mission. Allison Wallace was there.
Currently here at the Pro World Sports Complex, where Bigger Than Sports is hosting a 2v2 pickleball tournament with over 20 teams. Let's go check it out. I spoke with Ian Wade, the founder of Bigger Than Sports.
All of the funds that are raised from these tournaments and basically just using the power of sports and the monetizable aspect of it, we are able to use the money that is raised from those tournaments to go and fund all of our initiatives, which are to work with the underserved students and provide them with educational resources and guidance in their last year of high school. The event planning process was extremely difficult. It's not something that is for the lighthearted, but I have an amazing team backing me up. Shout out to Chris, Jared, Tiger, and Luke. They're the programming team at Bigger Than Sports, and they have been putting in so much work to get it to where it is right now, where we're successfully running a tournament.
Lynn's Citizenship Project was featured. Freshman student Alexia spoke on how they all contributed to this event.
So with the Citizenship Project, at the moment, we are all volunteering to the Bigger Than Sports event, which is essentially to help standardize education and how people are going to apply to higher education and also trade jobs. So this is a really nice moment to support and volunteer a Lynn-based organization. I've learned that it takes a lot of sweat and tears to get an event like this going. I actually, Ian came to my class and explained how much this is really important to him. And I've learned that there's actually a lot of problems right now with how to apply into higher education when there aren't enough people going to help you out throughout that path.
Players at the event shared their thoughts on how it went.
The pickleball game went really well. Unfortunately, the results were not what I was expecting, but I like to say it's because of the wind. Yeah. I would say I'm at an intermediate level. I do it just for fun, but it's definitely something that I would look into to like add into my list of hobbies.
First game, they beat us pretty badly, but then the second game we won and we came back pretty strong, yeah. Second game was 7-1. Oh yeah, the second game was 7-1, yeah. Oh, the energy's awesome. I mean, just playing, just having a good time with my boy, and you know, it's just cool.
This event was truly an amazing experience, seeing how so many people can come together as a community for a great cause. I'm Allison Wallace, signing off.
Now in sports, in a hard-fought game, the Lynn women's basketball team was defeated by Barry with a final score of 79-71 on Wednesday night. Reporter Nicole Sayek was there.
On Wednesday, January 15th, Barry University won the women's basketball game against Lynn University. Both of the teams were very competitive, they both performed very well, and gave the audience a very entertaining game to watch. After speaking to Coach Julia Tucker, she gave some very inspiring words for the next upcoming games and expected performances.
I knew it was going to be a really tough game, full of some rebounding difficulties for us, which I think we felt in the second half. And then also just being aggressive, going to the rim, which I think we figured out a little too late. But overall, both teams played really hard, and a lot of credit to Barry being able to pull that out.
I am Nicole Zayek, reporting for iPulse.
Now it's time for your sports update. Here's Antonio Ponte with the latest scores, highlights, and standout moments.
After the tough loss on the 18th, the Lynn women's basketball team bounced back with a win over St. Leo this past Wednesday. The men's basketball team added another victory for the Fighting Knights Athletics when a win over St. Leo as well. This is the men's fourth straight win after an impressive 20-point performance from Carson Smith. Moving on to college football, Ohio State is your new national champion after a 34-23 win over Notre Dame in the first 12-team college football playoff title game. ESPN reports an average of 22.1 million viewers, making it the most watched college football playoff game and top non-NFL sporting event of the past year. Congratulations to the Buckeyes on an incredible season. In the NFL, the conference champions are set. On Saturday, the Bills face the Chiefs in a growing rivalry. Josh Allen is 4-1 against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season, but Mahomes has won all three playoff matchups. Allen aims to end Kansas City's quest for a three-peat and reach his first Super Bowl. On Sunday, the Commanders will meet the Eagles. It's Washington's first conference title game in 33 years, led by quarterback Jaden Daniels, who's having one of the most memorable rookie seasons to date. Meanwhile, the Eagles will once again lean on Saquon Barkley, who totaled over 200 yards from the line of scrimmage in their win over the Rams. The winners of both games will meet in Super Bowl 59 on February 9th. In Miami, the Jimmy Butler saga continues. Butler has been suspended once again, this time for 2 games due to insubordinate conduct, including missing the team flight to Milwaukee. He could return Monday against Orlando, but trade rumors are heating up. The Phoenix Suns have emerged as a potential suitor after acquiring 3 first-round picks in a deal with the Jazz. Butler added fuel to the rumors by wearing Suns-colored sneakers before his suspension. Finally, in baseball, 3 legends are headed to the Hall of Fame: Ichiro Suzuki, CC Sabathia, and Billy Wagner. Ichiro, after 7 All-Star seasons in Japan, notched over 3,000 hits, 10 Gold Gloves, and an MVP award in his rookie season during his time in the MLB. Ichiro played for several teams in his career, including here in South Florida as a member of the Miami Marlins. Sabathia recorded 251 wins, 3,000 strikeouts, and helped the Yankees win the 2009 World Series. Wagner, one of the best closers ever, tallied 422 saves with a 2.31 career ERA. Congratulations to all 3 on reaching Cooperstown. That's all for sports. Back to the studio.
If you're looking to buy or sell vintage records, Vinyl Destination is the place to be. Just off Sunrise Boulevard, you'll find a music shop owned and operated by Mindy and Rick Trodella. With their shared passion for music, the Trodellas have curated a collection that continues to captivate customers. My co-anchor, Lisette Guillen, has the story.
I am here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in front of a record store called Vinyl Destination. With over 30,000 vinyl records, this mom-and-pop vintage vinyl record store started out as Rick, the co-owner of the store, having a unique hobby.
I've kind of been a record collector and interested in music ever since I was 10 years old. And My brother and a friend and I had an illegal radio station in our basement. We played disc jockey. We went into the radio stations in Boston to see how they did it. I worked at a record store informally when I was in my teens, and then I got involved in my college radio station, where my job was to go get the music for the radio station to play.
One day, Rick had found himself at a thrift store buying records for 25 cents. As his music collection grew, he knew he had to do something about it.
And when we had 30,000 records, I asked Mindy, should we just sell them all at once, or should we open a record store? And the answer was, here it is.
The shop specializes in selling music from the 1960s all the way through the 1980s.
Classic rock and roll, you know, the Beatles, the Doors, Fleetwood Mac, Jimi Hendrix, Pink Floyd, things like that. Classic rock, whether it's that or Journey or whatever, that's the big seller. Jazz is good. Reggae is very popular. We can't keep it in stock.
Due to the shop's admired music collection, customers like to feel like they are a part of the collection and sell their own records to the store.
The other day, I had a guy come in with 6 boxes of 500 records. They were all over. They're still all over the sidewalk here. It's just trying to get them from raw inventory into finished product that's ready to sell in the bins, meaning making sure it's clean, has good inner sleeve, putting the poly sleeve on it, the grading strip on it, a price sticker on it. It takes time to get it from the box into presentable.
Although Vinyl Destination is a small record shop, Mindy believes that is the beauty of the store. It is customers having the opportunity to get close to the music.
It's not all, pristine and antiseptic, and people really like to dig, and they like to discover things and find things, and they find things for us that we didn't know we had. So we encourage that. Just they have to, wait a bit until we price it and deal with it, but everybody's, usually very willing to do that, and I think that's a big attraction for our shop, for sure. And this digital world and streaming, I think people are enjoying the fact that they can touch it, hold it, feel it, look at the album covers. It's a whole engagement that you don't have when you press a button and stream music, which is fine too, wherever you are. But so it's a different kind of interaction, I think, and people are liking that.
In addition to running the business, Mindy and Rick's favorite part about their job is interacting with the people that walk in.
You get to talk to people, they want to tell you their stories, they end up telling you everything about their childhood, and then it's the comments. I was just saying to him yesterday, you hear people coming in to the store and you hear a comment they'll say, and these nice comments about, wow, this is the best, this is the place, and I could just write them all down as I hear them. It would be real nice. So it's the people, for sure.
I'm Lisekian for iPulse.
Coming up, we take you to a hidden oasis right here in South Florida, the Murakami Museum and Japanese Gardens in Boca Raton, known for its breathtaking landscapes and authentic Japanese architecture. My co-anchor Lilian Carrion took a visit there. Let's see what she has to say.
Hello everyone, we're back with another iPulse report. My name is Lilian Carrion, right here at the Murakami Museum and Japanese Garden. Let's go check it out. The Murakami Museum and Japanese Gardens in Boca Raton, Florida, is a cultural gem that celebrates the rich history, art, and traditions of Japan. Located in the heart of South Florida, it offers a peaceful oasis that allows visitors to explore Japanese culture through its stunning gardens, exhibitions, and educational programs. It was founded in 1977 and is named after Yamato Morikami, a Japanese immigrant who settled in the area in the early 1900s. Morikami, along with another Japanese immigrants, helped establish a farming community called Yamato in the early 20th century. Over time, the farming community faded, but the desire to preserve Japanese culture remained strong, leading to the creation of a museum. The Japanese presence in South Florida has grown over the years. Though it has not been as prominent as in areas like California or Hawaii, South Florida, as the largest metropolitan area in the region, has attracted a mix of Japanese individuals, businesses, and cultural activities. The Murakami Museum and Japanese Gardens is a wonderful place to experience Japanese culture in South Florida. Whether you're interested in history, art, nature, or simply looking for a peaceful retreat, the museum offers a unique and enriching experience. The Murakami Museum and Gardens offers a peaceful escape where visitors can immerse themselves in the beauty and tranquility of Japanese culture. I walked around the gardens and saw beautiful nature, I rubbed the Buddha's head for good luck, and even sat down at a beautiful Japanese house to admire the culture on a nice sunny Sunday. So now we know more about the Japanese background here in South Florida at Murakami Museum. My name is Ileana Carreon for iPulse News. Now, for our iPulse Extra, iPulse reporter Swanson Gibson Jr. sat down with Lynn University's Distinguished Professor of American History, Dr. Robert Watson, to talk about the first week of the second Trump administration. Here is a full unedited interview.
Thank you, Dr. Watson, for taking time to participate in this interview. I want to get right into it. Sure. Donald Trump is officially back in office as the 47th President of the United States. Give us your first take on his initial moves and what do you anticipate for the next 4 years?
Yeah, it was shocking shocked by the inauguration, some of the initial actions. You know, the inauguration is a hallowed part of the pomp, pageantry, and parade of American politics. All presidents get up and show signs of bipartisanship, magnanimity, and great humility before the powers of the office. We saw none of that with this inauguration. I think the thing that struck me most is all presidents appeal after an ugly campaign, I want to be the president of all the people and bring the country together. He didn't seem to want to be the president of all the people, doesn't even want to be the president of his party, only with people that agree with him. So all sorts of customs were violated in this inauguration. The only other inaugural in history that even comes close would have been, of course, his first inauguration.
The common theme this week within various news outlets is the term imperial presidency. To those unaware, what does that mean and how does that affect U.S. government?
Yeah, so that comes out from the 1960s, 1970s. The idea that the presidency is an office that it's the most influential in the world, but presidential powers are all limited. The Founding Fathers and the Constitution, for every presidential power, it's limited, divided, or checked. In the 60s, you see presidents like Kennedy and Nixon, Lyndon Johnson, wars in Vietnam, presidents getting involved in everything overseas. Nothing is off limits for the president. Even domestically, whether it's teenage pregnancy or smoking or health, the president's involved in everything. Thus, we call it the imperial presidency. The office is becoming awfully powerful. Trump definitely sees his in imperial tones. Obviously, he's talking about making Canada the 51st state, which is, of course, foolish. Talking about not ruling out military actions in Greenland, taking back the Panama Canal, all sorts of other things. So we see all the signs of this imperial type of presidency. Nothing is off limits, even if it's not constitutional. Nothing is off limits for the president.
President Trump is already making headlines this week when it comes to aiming to end birthright citizenship and the pardoning the January 6 attackers. How would you characterize that and him doing that?
Yeah, so his first couple of days have been unprecedented as well. Ending birthright citizenship, of course, is unconstitutional. A judge has already blocked it as we're speaking. There are countless lawsuits. Scholars around the country, judges around the country are up in arms with it. The 14th Amendment from 1868 is pretty clear about this. So you can't just with the stroke of the pen end birthright citizenship. This is a constitutional issue. Also with January 6th, all presidents have used and misused the presidential pardon. They usually do it in their final days in office. I've never liked the idea of a presidential pardon, but there it is. But we've not seen it the way Trump's used it by pardoning people who attacked the Capitol. Police officers were attacked and died. They defecated and urinated on the floors. They looted. They threatened to kill the vice president, Democratic members of Congress. These people were found guilty in a court of law. They admitted their guilt. And he's pardoning in one fell swoop all these folks. So this sends a message to law enforcement. It sends a message to the country that lawlessness is something that the administration is not bothered by.
Definitely a lot has taken place the past week. Do you have anything else to add to your perspective regarding Trump's presidency and anything that could potentially happen within the next few years?
Sure. I'd say fasten your seatbelts. It's off to an unprecedented start, and he's already indicated more. We're getting out of major alliances, international agreements that are a foundation of our foreign policy, getting out of the World Health Organization after a major health crisis and pandemic. That makes no sense. Getting out of UNESCO, that's the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, backing out of all sorts of other obligations. He's already talking about gutting as much as he can of the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, Endangered Species Act, protections for against harmful pesticides, all sorts of things, which are all going to bump up against the constitutional wall here. So it should be a fascinating, if not potentially troubling, from a constitutional perspective, couple of years.
Thank you again, Dr. Watson, for taking time to participate in this interview. Thanks.
Sure.
And that's our broadcast for January 24th, 2025. I'm Lilian Carreon.
And I'm Lisekian. We'll return next week with another edition of iPulse Live. Until then, you can follow us on our website at iPulsenews.com and watch us on YouTube at Lynn iPulse.